What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So we have a important race today. This is a special election in Tennessee, District 7. And we're going to watch, I'm going to show you CNN first, and we're going to talk a little bit about this and why this is so important for both Democrats and Republicans, because this is going to give us a real good indicator of where the public is. Are people happy with the current administration, or do they want change? So we're going to take a look at the clip, that we'll talk about it. But first off, if you guys can do me a favor, please like the video. If you're watching this video and you want to see more content like this, please consider subscribing to the channel. Okay, so here's a clip. This is CNN, and we'll take a look. Here we go.
It is a ruby red Republican district, John Berman. What are we talking about? Well, why don't we just take a look at the past three presidential elections in the great state of Tennessee, in the 7th district, in that great state. Look at Trump's margins. In 2016, he won it by 17 points. 2020, 15 points. And then in 2024, Johnny B, takes the cake. Here we get Donald Trump winning by 22 points. That's why I say even a close GOP win tomorrow is a bad sign for them, because what we're dealing with is a district that all three times that Donald Trump was on the ballot in the general election, he won it by double digits. And last time, he broke the 20-point margin barrier.
I would say if you had to look at the congressional map, any district that Donald Trump won by 22 points, you would say, you know, you've got like nearly a 100% chance of winning if you're running for Congress there. But what are the prediction markets saying right now?
Yeah, what are we talking about in terms of the prediction market odds? Look, the Democrat has a 15% chance of winning in that race, okay? A 15% chance, which ain't nothing in a district that Donald Trump won by 22 points. But here, I think, is the key nugget on this side of the ledger, and that is a GOP win by under 10 points. There's a 68% chance of that. So there is a more than 2/3 chance that the Republican candidate, yes, they win, but they win by a significantly lower margin than Donald Trump. We're talking about double digits, smaller. We're talking about a huge shift to the left. We're talking about, when you add these two together, we're talking about a more than 80% chance that there is a clear double-digit shift to the left, and a 15% chance the Democrat actually wins in a district that Donald Trump won by 22 points. That just shows you how bad the environment is for Republicans right now, that the Democrat has any sort of a chance in this district.
Talk to me about what the special election has been showing so far.
Yeah, okay, so you see this and you say, okay, this might just be a one-off in Tennessee. It's a December special election. But get this, 2025 House special elections. Dems outran Kamala Harris. We've had 5 so far. Arizona 7, Dem outran Kamala Harris. Florida 1, Dem outran Kamala Harris. Florida 6, Dem outran Kamala Harris. Texas 18, Dem outran Kamala Harris. And in the suburbs of Washington, D.C., in Virginia 11, the Dem outran Kamala Harris. And on average so far, the Democrats have been outrunning Kamala Harris's margin by over 15 points. So what the prediction market suggests would happen in Tennessee is not something that's happening in isolation. It is happening all over the congressional map.
Okay, so when you see something like this, what does history tell us about what ultimately happens?
Okay, so you see these and you say, special elections, what do they matter? Well, take a look to the midterm that happens down the line. You go all the way back since over 20 years ago. What are we talking about? Special elections and midterm results. When a party outperformed in special elections since 2005, 5 out of 5 times they went on to win the House of Representatives in the next midterm. So what's happening, what's likely to happen tomorrow in Tennessee, what has happened across the congressional map is likely not to stay in 2025, is likely to push forward and be very good news for Democrats come 2026.
Watch these margins.
And so that's what it's all about. This is not this special election. Yes, this is a congressional seat, but it's not really a big deal. The deal is that in 2026, the midterm elections, if we see some indicators here, this could impact that 2026 midterm elections, because it would mean that the American people, or at least the people in Tennessee, have shifted their viewpoints, and they've shifted it towards the Democratic Party. And so that's why everyone's watching this. And so that's why President Trump was in the virtual campaign rally. That's why you had the Speaker Johnson, come out to try to help the Republican in Tennessee, because they know this is important for the future. They know that this could mean that in 2026, in that midterm, we could see a shift. Historically speaking, we're probably going to see that shift anyway, but how bad is that shift going to be? Are we going to see a blue wave? Are we going to see Democrats overwhelmingly take over the House and potentially do some damage in the Senate as well, win some seats in the Senate, or even take the majority in the Senate? Are we going to see this in 2026? And that's what Republicans are scared about right now. That's what they're concerned about. That's why they're panicking. That's why they're putting money into this district. They're putting money into this campaign in this district because they know if they can't get into the double digits, then that's going to be a huge problem, a huge sign that they don't want to see. And so even if the Democrat doesn't win, and I told you guys about this, I told you Bain, it's possible that she could win, but what everyone is looking at right now is what is the margin going to look like? If she loses, what is that margin going to look like? Will it be 5 points? Will it be 7 points? Will it be over 10 points? Now, if it's around, and I said this before, if it's around 15 to 17 points, well, that's good for the Republicans. That means they haven't really lost any ground. But if we're looking at a single digit lead or single digit win for the Republican, well, guess what? That means that Republicans have lost a lot. They're losing a lot. They're not winning this battle. I was listening to a congressman, and he was talking about this race, and he was very upset, talking about the fact that Republicans, they're not doing enough to win these races, and they need to get the word out and all the stuff he was talking about. But one thing that he didn't talk about, and this is going to be a problem for Republicans, it's the economy. People are upset because they're paying more. People are upset because they were promised that they weren't going to have to pay more, but they are paying more. That's what people are upset about. All this other stuff doesn't matter. It doesn't mean anything. But when it comes to the economy, you have to address that. And he wasn't addressing that. He wasn't putting the blame on the president. He wasn't putting the blame on Republicans for how our current situation is with the economy. And that's going to be a huge problem. And I said this before. When it comes to Republicans, they are going to have to run on President Trump's record, his policies. If his policies are bad, if his record is bad, if the economy is bad, then guess what? People are going to come out and they're going to vote against him, or they're just not going to come out. And that could be what we see in Tennessee. We could just see low voter turnout. People coming out on the Democratic side and voting for Bain, but not a lot of people coming out on the Republican side. Now, that doesn't mean that the Republican will lose. Doesn't mean that Epps will lose, but the margin will be much closer because you're going to have some people that are just going to say, you know what? I'm tired of politics. This is not working. We were promised this and we're not getting any of that. And they just don't vote. Or they do vote, but they vote against the Republicans because they're looking at President Trump as the leader of the Republican Party and saying, this is where the problem is, so I'm going to vote for the other candidate. And so this is a big sign, and so we'll have to see what happens. So tomorrow I'll post another video. We'll talk a little bit more about the outcome because the election is people are voting right now. And so we'll find out more information later today. We'll see if Republicans are able to pull this out and if they're able to win by double digits. That's the most important thing. For the Republican to win, that's likely. So for Epps to win, it's likely, but will he be able to get into the double digits, deep into the double digits, 15%, 17%? That is what we really need to be focused on. So I want to know what you guys think. Do you think that Epps will win? Do you think he'll win by double digits, 15, 17%? Let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye. So that's all we have for this video. Make sure if you guys want to send me an email, you can do that, david@thetecshow.com. Like the video, subscribe for more, and check out these videos over here for some more great content. Talk to you later. Bye.